Welcome to the first and hopefully not the last issue of What's Trending. Most of you out there might know me because I've been on a couple of shows before, and I've always looked to do another show again, but just couldn't find the right co-host. I really wanted somebody that was kind of offbeat and a little bit whacked.
Thanks. That's
Found
me.
that person. New co-host, Deb Hamel. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Where you been?
All over the place. I lived in Keene for 25 plus years. I moved away for 10, and now I'm back. I spent 8 of those at the People's Republic of Western Massachusetts.
Wow.
And a year and a half in Florida. And when I was in Keene, I was involved in several committees. Planning board.
Yep.
Loved that, those early morning meetings.
Oh, yeah.
Midnight to 1 a.m.
What type of bushes are they going to plant in front of the building?
That's right. Speaking with the Roads and Commodes director,
You've
things
been
like
there.
that. I was the vice chair of the New Hampshire State Board of Education for a while.
How'd that go?
Excellent. We changed the rules of education so it's focused on each student. Not each student learns by sitting in rows.
So you perfected it and left.
I perfected it and left. I
Perfect.
did. I ran.
Good job.
And let's see, a Southwest Region Planning Commissioner. I've been on the Chamber Board of Commerce down in East Hampton, Mass, blah, 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 blah. As far as Keene goes, I was the youngest woman on the Keene Women's Club back in the 1980s and 90s. And
Back when you were what, 10, 11, 12?
That's it. That's it.
Perfect.
And there was some trouble there. Something had happened.
Okay.
Remember?
That's the story we won't talk about today.
I didn't
Trouble.
do it.
Yeah.
But many of us on the Women's Club went to Concord, and we crafted a bill that was passed.
Okay.
So we helped to do that, and I was a 3rd vice president of the Keene Lions Club. I love the Lions Club. I'll be going back there as a guest of Scott Hussey's this Tuesday.
Oh, cool.
Do you think they're ready for me?
No, not a chance.
And this show is called What's Trending, and we just want to talk about
What's trending?
what's trending, like what's happening here. Boom, 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 boom. City, national, state, worldwide.
Yeah, we're going to do a little bit of everything. And as you can tell, if I'm not careful, I will not be getting a word in edgewise. So I will occasionally try to elbow my way in.
I'm just trying to get them to smile.
Could be tough. Yeah, smile.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
Yes.
hey, how the show came about, like I said, I had been looking to do a show for a while. And actually, Deb and I were actually at an event at Tom Eaton's house.
Yes.
And it had to do with Chris Christie coming around running for president, like every Republican in the country is doing, I think, except you.
That's right.
But you still
I'm next.
you could still put your name in.
Yeah.
And I'm friends with Tom. Not that Chris Christie's the party that I'll probably be voting for, but nonetheless, I think in New Hampshire, if you have the opportunity to see any presidential candidate,
Correct.
you get your butt out there and you visit them. Because in the rest of the country, you know what they see?
They see sound bites. They see what media projects of them.
That's it.
And this was awesome. I was shocked to see you there.
Yeah,
you
a lot of people were.
You were infiltrating and things. It's like
I went for 2 reasons. One, because I was infiltrating, I was the other party going in.
you were a looky-loo.
Look, I still haven't figured out what that is yet. But also, I went there because I've heard the Republicans do phenomenal bashes for candidates, like open bar, open food, wild and crazy. And I get there, it's like a bottled water. You guys have let me down. I'm not going to switch parties. I thought I might, based on the parties I heard you guys had. Not true. Or at least that one wasn't true. Maybe I left too early.
Wasn't my outfit fabulous?
No. Oh, yours?
Not yours.
Well, I thought mine was great.
Yeah.
And anyhow, so what happened was, we went there
And we started arguing.
We started
about
arguing,
politics.
and we started arguing right off. It was great,
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, wow, she's nuts. And my wife Holly, who is, by the way, our producer, she's put this whole thing together, so I don't have to do a heck of a lot. Hello behind the screen back there. Said, you know what, Randy? She'd be a great co-host because you guys are going to argue for a half an hour.
That's right.
We were originally going to do it for an hour, but we can only argue for so long. So we figured we'd start off with a half-hour show.
Right.
We thought about a different types of names who wanted to do it, like You're Right, But I'm Correct, which I think would have been the best name
I'm
for it.
right. He's wrong.
Yeah, so we
Shock and awe.
just basically came up with what's trending. And with that said, we're also going to background on order because you can see it's kind of bland right now. We're going to be spending millions of dollars on the studio.
So
that is if we get sponsors.
We are looking for sponsors and underwriters.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a business owner and you'd like to help us out, or
Extra cash lying around,
that's right, just help us.
toss it our way.
We're hoping to get this show on YouTube.
Yeah, we're going to hit it.
Oh, we're going to hit it hard. And we have a fabulous Facebook page
Yeah, we do. We
with a
actually do have
picture of
good
me that's
Facebook.
coming off. I look like a pumpkin.
Yeah.
I look like a pumpkin with feet.
Yeah, a blonde pumpkin.
Yeah.
It's pretty good,
Do you like my hair? This is in honor of Donald Trump. I've got this. I've got the hair going today.
That's perfect.
And
We'll be talking about Trump later on in the show.
I like Donald Trump.
That's why we're doing the show. Good old Donald Trump.
Love him.
Anyhow,
Yes.
let's talk about a couple things that are trending. Oh, we're out of time. That's the end of the show. Thank you.
Thank
that
you.
was a good one.
Bye-bye.
What's trending? Well, let's kind of start off in Keene. We're going to try to do fun stuff, serious stuff, and a little bit of other stuff. But a couple things have been trending in Keene. And let me start off with, obviously you've heard we're looking for a new city manager.
Yes.
You know, and we're not going to try to beat things to death because I know there's 29 shows on Cheshire TV, and every other city councilor does a show.
And sometimes when you go on and on, you're boring.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so we're going to try not to be too boring.
No,
I mean, she
you,
might be a little
not
bit boring.
we,
She might
you.
be boring, but I promise I won't be.
Okay, John McClain.
Yes, he's the city manager that's going to be leaving.
Love him. How long has he been there? Close
20
to
years.
20 years.
And actually, I am the only remaining city councilor that was actually on the council that hired him 20 years ago. So how's that? I
Wow.
was a city councilor when Pat McQueen was the former city manager, who made it 17 years. Then we hired John, who made it 20 years. And that's unheard of because city managers, the average in the national, 5 years.
Right.
And
And
he
I
made it
love
20.
John's voice is very soothing. John McClain.
I don't know about soothing because I've been doing city council meetings with John for 20 years. I don't know about soothing because sometimes, well, it might be depends who he's talking. He's talking to you. Everything's good. You know,
Everything is
kumbaya,
good. This
hug.
is the city of Keene. I came back here from the hot south in Florida. I had to come back. I love this city, and I love this state because of the First in the Nation primary. Anyway, you were talking.
Well, see? Anyhow, so John's going to be moving on. We are looking for a new city manager right now. It's going to take a while. He's going to be leaving in October. So
It's-
we're probably going to have to hire somebody internally, maybe, for the interim to hold out till we find somebody. But we got a good staff, and we got a great city council. We'll take care of things.
Yeah, sure. But my question is, I was doing some background on this. The Mayor Kendall Lane had thrown out there that it's likely that you'll be paying $200,000.
I'm applying now.
Well, my thing is I've been on many negotiating committees, local school boards and things. You never throw out the figure first. So
Right.
that kind of surprised me. And Chris Roberts was quoted as saying, in Concord, they pay $118,000 for their city manager, and Worcester, Mass, they pay $218,000. And Worcester, Mass has a much bigger population than
Right.
Keene.
Well-
But I hope we get somebody good, because this is a very important position.
Oh, it's the most important position. I know, and I've kind of mentioned a couple times on the local radio that I heard that figure thrown out of $250,000. I can tell you right now, and I'm only one of 15 counselors, so I'm only one of 15.
You're speaking for yourself, not the
I'm
board.
speaking for myself, but I can still tell you it ain't happening. The $250,000 is not going to happen. As a matter of fact, the other night at the council meeting, when the city manager gets to make comments, the city manager said, well, I've heard how much you're going to try to offer the new city manager, and he said, I'm rescinding my retirement.
All right.
And then he realized that. Only kidding. But with that said, I do have the list here of all the city and town managers in New Hampshire. And the highest paid is actually Concord. There was a misprint on that. The city manager in Concord makes $160.
Right.
The city manager in Claremont makes $100. And our city manager made $135. So we're right in the middle. We're state average.
We're
So
where we should be.
then that's pretty much where we're going to be.
And I understand that the salary has to be attractive to attract the right candidate. However, it has to be more than that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I want somebody who knows this city, who knows things about this city, and like planning board things. You look around here, everything is brick, and there's a lot of trees. That's for a reason. Planning board, we drove people crazy. They'd come in with stuff, you know, whether it was Home Depot coming in.
You drove somebody crazy? I'm stunned. Really?
And signage, and we had the big argument about Target coming in. Was there too much signage because there are bollards out front? You know those things so you don't drive your car into people or shopping carts? They're round. There was the question that went on and on and on for hours. Is that considered signage because it's the middle thing of Target? And you know, Keene takes care of itself.
We
In
try.
many respects.
Yeah, we try.
There's some things that need help, but
Yeah.
I would like to see a city manager who comes in that knows this city, that knows the history,
Mm-hmm.
understands the diversity of the people.
That may happen. When we hired,
Well, that's
when we,
encouraging.
Well, when we hired John, you know, John was actually had been in the Coast Guard out in Michigan actually,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the things, you know, looking for the city manager, obviously if you can find the perfect person close by, you know, that'll accept a mid-range salary, that's great. But one of the things that I heard was, well, you know, we have to put a lot of money out there to get a good candidate. But the candidate coming here is going to be going to a city that's very stable
Yes.
compared to a lot of cities out there.
Right.
Obviously we have our things that are going on, but it's a quality of life issue.
It
You can't give enough money for quality of life. And I made a comment the other day. You want $250,000, you want $300,000, go to Newark, New Jersey. Go to one of those communities. Flint, Michigan. Gary, Indiana.
Gary,
Have a good time.
Indiana.
Exactly.
Right.
You want to make $250,000, go there. You want a good quality of life, a little bit less money. You come here. So,
Bingo.
yes, with that said, I wish those dollar figures had never been floated out there.
Yeah.
I think,
Just an outsider's opinion.
I think
Just saying as well.
I think if and there's obviously the mayor who kind of mentioned that, I think he'd like to retract those comments, but sometimes you're on the radio, you get tripped up.
Trust
and you got to
me.
be careful.
I had a live morning talk show with John Oliphant, and I got tripped up a lot. Not by only him, but the call-in
Yeah.
people, the
You gotta be
drive-bys. You have to be careful.
Because you can't retract it,
No.
especially today's day and age, because everything's recorded and they replay it.
I
a
know,
million
like
times.
Lindsey Graham
Yeah.
calling Donald Trump a jackass.
You got it straight.
He won't do
Finally.
that again.
Well, he has to get a new phone
Oh,
number
by the
now.
way, Randy gave me his phone number. It's 603.
Yeah, 1-800 call me. Anyhow, so that's what's trending. We're looking for a new city manager. Elections are coming up also in November, so you might be looking for a new city council. I might have something else to do on a Thursday night. Who knows?
Who knows?
But every 2 years, 10 city councilors are up for re-election. So,
Mm-hmm.
you go through that, and obviously we have a mayoral race this year too.
Yes.
Already, and it's early.
Are you running?
I'll be running for at-large against city council. Yeah, I'll be
Not mayor?
No, been there, done that. That's enough. But if somebody's running for mayor, you got to have time. It's a full-time job.
It is a full-time job.
And you get about 3,000 a year. So 40 hours a week, 50 hours a week, 3,000 a year. Come on down.
That's it.
So the city manager is going to get about 150. The mayor gets $3,000.
I
We'll figure that one out.
I loved Mayor Blastos.
Yeah.
I-
Good old Mayor Mike.
I miss him tremendously.
Yeah, I served for years with Mike on the council than when he was mayor. He was two different people when he was councilor and a mayor.
Oh, yes.
As the councilor, Mike would be just like right off the wall.
Right.
As a mayor, he had to tone it down a little bit.
Yeah, he was
Not a
very,
lot, but a
very
little bit.
smooth.
Yeah.
I mean, he went to a lot of things, and whether there were openings, of a business, of this, of that, he was always there. And he was always good to me. When I went to the pub, he gave me extra bacon. Very important.
You did.
Oh, yes.
Mike, I got to talk to him later on. He never gave me extra bacon.
Don't make a fat joke. Zip.
And also going on in Keene, before we switch over to state and federal, which
Because
we
we're
have over there.
not just about Keene.
No, not everything, just kind of, sort of. The armed citizens at the recruiting stations.
Yes.
You go down West Street, you get a guy that was in the military 20, 30 years ago with his, AR-15 or whatever. And I had some comments from the media if I wanted to quote on that, and I'm like, no, because it was one of those where you're kind of stepping in mud either way. But one of my friends who was a police officer pointed out, it's kind of a ceremonial thing. I mean, I get it. They're coming in, yeah, we're protecting. But they're really not, because 3 of them were standing around talking on the cell phone the other day. And honestly, if somebody wanted to come in and take it out, they would hit all 3 of them before they even knew what happened.
I could be on my cell phone putting mascara on, driving down the road, and fixing my high heel at the same time. And if someone comes against me, I can whip a gun out and blast you.
You cannot be driving down the road with a cell phone anymore. It's illegal. So the heck with your
I don't
automatic
do
weapons
that.
you drive around with. You can't drive around with a cell phone on anymore.
That is a new law.
Do you have hands-free
It's
in
a
your
very,
car?
very good.
You don't, do you? You are breaking the law. See?
I don't hold the phone. I don't talk on the phone. I don't like to talk much.
Well, I don't talk either. I talk. But
Okay, moving right along.
yeah, where'd you pick up that accent? Oh, you're from New York originally, right?
Yes.
The talk
New
thing.
York Yankees, let's go.
This show is going downhill. Okay, why don't we move on to state or something? I'm going to let you pick a topic to go on and see
Okay,
if you have anything exciting.
I do have something exciting.
Okay, cool. Let's go.
Something I'm angry about. One of many things.
Okay.
Planned Parenthood.
Oh, boy.
A second undercover video shows Planned Parenthood Federation of America's Medical Directors Council President, Dr. Mary Gatter, haggling over payments for intact fetal specimens and offering to use a less crunchy technique. Now, this, I'm appalled by this, this is the second video that's come out of what they're doing, and they're taxpayer funded, and it's a crime.
Well, with that said, I did a little research on that because I knew you were going to try to hit people up, being the right winger that you are. And from the left point of view, basically what it was, some of those things were said, but they were excerpts. They were just taking out little blips.
Those
But,
are
you know,
pretty
in
damning
today's day and age,
excerpts.
Americans, you know, we want all of our news in 15 seconds because we don't have time to hear the rest.
Sure.
You just have to go on, just go right to the online right here to my phone and realize those excerpts are taken out of about a 3-hour meeting. And
But she said
basically,
them.
well, you can take words and take sentences and
Aye.
take clips. And hey, you've been in politics locally. Have you ever been misquoted in the local media?
Never. Unfortunately, they put what I say. Love the Keene Sentinel.
Sure they do.
Okay, so let's talk about something else that wasn't in that interview.
Well, hurry up. I'll try to look it up
Coming
quick so I
from
can
the right.
discredit you.
From CNSnews.com, Planned Parenthood, the nation's largest abortion
I thought we were
provider,
talking about something different.
received $528.4 million in taxpayer funding for 1 year. So the government, they do it through government health services grants and reimbursements. Let's break it down, baby, shall we?
Well, I guess we're going to.
That means in 1 year, they received an average of $1,447,000 in taxpayer funds per day and an average of $60,320 an hour.
Well, that's exciting. I'm sure
You
our
have nothing to
audience
say, do you?
Sure, our audience is just going crazy on this one. Yeah. It's like,
Well,
wow.
it's just wrong.
Okay.
Don't you think that's wrong?
But, well, you know, once again, yes. However, I haven't read the whole report. You know, when you sit down and read the whole report, you know, it's kind of like when bills go to
What else
Congress.
is there to read that she says, excuse me, I have to adjust my slip or something? I don't
Well, as long
understand.
as
Would you like coffee?
As long as it was the whole quote, and she didn't say you made me slip. See, it could have been taken out of context.
But this is factual. This is factual
Of
information.
course it is. You know, I read some things on the internet because everything's factual. And if those damn aliens, did you read about them? I'm telling you.
I'm sitting
it's
next to
scary,
one.
You know,
So moving right along,
I read it on the internet. It has to be true.
EBT cards in
Kind
New
of like
Hampshire.
Fox News. Everything on Fox News is true.
This is going to be fun.
You ever watch Fox News?
I'm doing
Have
the
you ever
wife
watched
thing.
anything except Fox News?
Of course I do.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
I watch The Real Housewives of New Jersey.
There. You know, now we know that you do your homework. That's perfect.
I do my
And of course
homework.
it was New Jersey. Because if you watch something about New Jersey, that's why you went and saw Chris Christie.
That's why I have the big hair.
And you talk.
I talk.
Yeah. Chris Christie talks too. You guys like had a language together.
We did.
I was trying to get a word in
We were
edgewise.
locked.
They were loving and hugging and
Tom Eaton was looking at me as if, let go.
Let him 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 go.
And he was just talking to me, and our eyes were locked, and it was just a great and he held my hand the whole time. I shook his hand, and he held my hand, and he looked in my eyes.
Yeah, I tried to say hi, but he had to leave by the time you were done. So.
Oh, shush.
Yeah.
So anyway, I brought up EBT cards in New Hampshire.
Okay.
EBT cards are now like the credit, if you're not familiar, the credit card that food stamps can go on, and also some welfare recipients receive cash per month, some as much as $700. And they can use those EBT cards as an ATM
I'm in the
card.
wrong line of work. How do you get onto that anyhow? Jeez. Yeah, I was like, wow.
In about 5 minutes, you're going to be
That's
on
more
it.
than they pay us here. Actually, it cost us $2 to even be here.
Well, there you go.
What a ripoff.
Okay,
They did give us a free bottle of water today, though. Thanks, Rick.
so anyway, your thoughts.
On the EBT card, I read where the governor is signing a bill to tighten up the usage of those, and I agree. And honestly, actually talking to somebody at work about this the other day, I think because it is so abused,
Yeah.
and I think EBT cards, even if somebody's intent is to be very honest with them, I mean, it's like, you know, getting a free credit card that you can just swipe
Right.
at anything. I would like to see it go back to old-fashioned food stamps.
I would too.
You know, where you literally go into the grocery store, and you know, the whole talk about embarrassment or whatever, you know, I get it, but they can't be abused.
Right.
You know, not like an EBT card.
Exactly.
And they were talking about using them at strip clubs and bars.
Because
and
was it in Peterborough that a woman just got fired, a store clerk just got
Yeah,
fired
it was a while
because
back.
she refused to sell cigarettes to
Yeah,
somebody using an
somebody that
EBT
was on
card.
it.
But anyway, we just wanted to bring that up.
We did. So look at that. We kind of sort of agreed on something already.
And we're moving along fast because we're just a half-hour show.
We are, and actually we have. Wow, is that going by fast? We have like only like 7 minutes left. See how fast 30 minutes goes? We might expand this to an hour someday. Anyhow, that said, on
Let's talk about the epidemic.
the heroin.
You've written a lot about that on your personal Facebook page,
Mm-hmm.
and we have a Facebook page, so comments and everything
Are welcome.
are welcome. Nice
Um,
comments.
Heroin in Keene is no different really than heroin across the nation. It's an epidemic everywhere.
Right.
And for those in the small towns that are around Keene, don't think you're exempt, because Richmond, New Hampshire, the largest heroin bust in the state's history was
Wow.
in Richmond. Because a lot of the towns, they can hide out there in the woods and nobody's paying attention to them.
Correct.
So it's everywhere. Actually, I picked up the Manchester Useless Leader today, and it's on the front page of that also about heroin in Manchester. Boston Herald, talks about needles being found in the parks. So several months ago, Councillor Clark and I wrote a letter to the City Council and to the Mayor, said, let's look into this. So actually, tonight, or actually since we're taping, actually as we're talking, there's a committee meeting where the new Chief of Police is coming in to update us on what's going on.
I know. I'd love to be there and listen to that.
It's going to be just an update. I have talked to the Mayor about it. Down the road, we're going to be putting a committee together. Now, whether
A task force? Is there a task force in place now or anything? Is that what the committee is going to be, or is it going to be
basically, and that's exactly
a committee?
that's exactly why we're getting together on this, because if you look at citywide, statewide, there's all kinds of little groups and individuals and town councils and city councils, and we're all running independently of each other.
Yes.
I think the goal is to start getting us all incorporated as one, because somebody might have a better idea than we do, and we don't even know about it, or the same as us. And so yeah, basically this is kind of like, I described it as
the
the research
beginning
I started
steps.
doing is peeling
Right.
back an onion, and the more I peeled back, the realized
The more it
how,
stinks.
how big the onion was.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
It's a mess.
Years ago, was 10, 15 years ago, there was a Keene police officer that was known as the Internet Cop. I can't think who that was.
It's probably Detective McLaughlin, because
I think it was.
He still does a lot of internet work.
And he became known nationwide for his work on catching a
Pedophiles.
predator
Yeah.
and pedophiles. And it was like a task force. I mean, that went into place, bang, bang, boom, it was done.
Yep.
And that's what I would love to see about this. And, I always, coming back to Keene, I was shocked to hear about such the epidemic and everything going on. And in my mind, I think of heroin as like the last resort, like the worst thing you can do, because it's unpredictable and it's just, you could get disease, you could get everything. And I'm just shocked at how big of an epidemic it is. And it began because the doctors started prescribing pain medications.
That's correct.
OxyContin, the hydrocodone, and let me just clarify, I have a lot of medical issues, autoimmune issues, and I've had 3 strokes. So if you see me, or taking a drink a lot, that's part of it.
We're not going to tell you what's in the mug, but it's pretty strong.
Water. But I have chronic pain, and I take hydrocodone. But to me, it takes away the
You
pain.
have chronic pain. Somebody told me you can be a chronic pain.
Oh, you know nothing yet. You wait. And it all began, I found something interesting. Purdue Pharma introduced OxyContin in 1996. When they introduced that, the company sent thousands of physicians and pharmacists on all expense-paid junkets. And they gave them T-shirts and this and that, and they doubled their sales force, and they compiled databases of doctors who were likely to prescribe OxyContin. This is from
Exactly.
The Atlantic.
You know what, the research that you did? I did the same research. So as you're reading it, I can actually almost read it in my mind sentence for sentence.
And the company argued that because of its time-release formula, the drug was far less addictive than Percocet and Vicodin. The marketing for OxyContin was unprecedented for a Schedule II opioid. Now, just recently, hydrocodone has gone to a Schedule II. And just to clarify what that is, Schedule I is ecstasy and LSD. I mean, isn't that something? But in 2002, doctors were prescribing 10 times more OxyContin than they had in '97, and the drug sales made 80 to 90%. And in 2007, Purdue pled guilty to misleading the public, and they paid $634 million in fines.
And following up on that, in 2010, Governor Shumlin over in Vermont was one of the governors that really tried to crack down on this.
Right.
And so in 2010, they were forced to change the composite, the makeup of the oxys.
Like by
So when-
plastic coating or something.
When you crushed them, they became a gel.
Yep.
Now, what happened was, and that kind of leads into the whole heroin thing, that people that were addicted to the oxys couldn't crush them up and use them anymore.
Right.
Switched over to heroin.
I just,
And that 77% of new heroin users started on OxyContin. 77%.
it just boggles my mind. I mean, heroin. 2015, we're talking about this, that Remember,
back
like
again.
when we were young, it was like, oh, the junkies or
The-
this
yeah.
or that, you know? And
The
you
dark
just,
drug nobody did except in the cities somewhere far, far away.
yeah, like really down and out, down on your luck type people. And it is an epidemic. I look forward to hearing what comes from the meeting tonight. And
It'll be interesting.
I'd really like to see people from different segments, not just city councilors, no
Right.
offense, but people from
absolutely.
different sectors, you know, maybe someone from the school or this or that, or somebody from the jail, and a task force.
You just can't have 15 city councilors curing the woes. You know, we're only 15.
Because you've done so great so far, right? You dope.
Depends on
nope,
the subject.
unintended.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That was pretty good.
That was.
You know what? We have a minute left.
Oh,
3 minutes left? So they must have screwed up our time out here.
I've got something great
This
to
is
talk
going to mess
about.
me all up out here. You guys just wave when there's 1 minute left, okay? I don't even know what he's babbling about.
I don't even know. I'm
I
not
don't know what he's
I'm not
talking
listening
about.
to
At
you.
some point, if the screen goes black, we
Turn your timer
apologize.
off,
It's
Randy.
show number 1. What?
Turn your timer off.
Turn your timer off. Okay, I
Thank
want to
you.
talk
You
about.
have 2.5 minutes.
I
We
want
have
to talk
2.5
about
minutes.
something serious.
That wasn't serious?
No.
Oh, jeez.
Have you ever butt dialed somebody?
Have what?
Have you ever butt dialed somebody?
I hope not.
That term came when you have your cell phone and you have it in your back pocket and you
Oh,
sit
butt
down.
dialed. Okay.
Yes.
It was that New York accent. I couldn't figure out what you said.
When
I didn't dare
you
ask.
accidentally dial someone and you have no idea that you dialed them, or it's in your pocketbook and you're going for, say, your lipstick,
Yeah, I hate
and
that.
and you press a contact and they can hear everything. And so meanwhile, you're on your phone going, hello, hello, and then all of a sudden you're like, ooh, wait a minute, they're talking.
Why is my
Oh,
butt? Why is my butt vibrating?
What are they saying? What do they say? And so you wind up listening. Well, guess what? The National Journal reported that next time you're talking trash or about sensitive business, double check your cell phone, because if you've accidentally butt dialed someone, it's perfectly legal for them to record everything you say. What? No, that's against my civil rights and blah, 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 blah.
Basically, when you pick up one of these cell phones, let's face it, there is no privacy.
A federal appeals court ruled Tuesday that accidental phone calls aren't private. A pocket or butt dial is comparable to leaving your blinds open. A 3-judge panel of the 6th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals court said it's not an invasion of your property. So, what do you say?
Don't put your phone in your back pocket.
Be careful of
Now
butt
we have
dialing.
1 minute left.
Now we have 1 minute left.
Hey, on another note in Keene,
Yes.
my wife and I, Holly, we watched Astronauts' Wives on Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of an interesting show. Little tidbit there, the gentleman that plays astronaut Scott Carpenter, his name is Wilson Bethel. He is the son of a Joyce Maynard, and they both used to live in Keene.
Fabulous.
Over on School Street. So we have another connection in Hollywood from Keene.
I like that.
So how was that? Where next?
Where next?
Where next? You know, I don't know what we'll call it. Maybe what's trending. Is that 2 seconds, 1 second, 3? Are we done? Are we done?
The light
I
is
think
red.
we're done.
The light is red.
That's the end of our first show. We'll hope to have a second one next week. Thank you.
Thank you.
We had fun. We'll see you in a week, guys. Good night.